Hey guys, welcome to Goodwill's Post Market Report. And as you can see, I have in front of me Nifty start on a 15 minutes time frame. And in my yesterday's video, I mentioned that above we have this particular resistance to look out for, and then the other resistance is the 52-week high. So apart from that, we had no other resistance, and clearly today also market took resistance from that particular level and came down. So tomorrow I have two main things that I myself will be watching out when I trade. Those are basically this trend line. I wouldn't call this a very a very strong support. This is not a level to be dependent upon, but I know I want to keep it, because there it might give some sort of good pattern over there. So myself as a trader, I might look for some sort of a chart pattern. But apart from that, what is actually interesting to me is this particular support zone over here, a horizontal support zone which has acted pretty well in the past couple of weeks. So clearly market is heading right near that. So if it happens to break this level and then this trend line, so clearly I myself will be looking out for a much bigger downside. But till then, this will act as a support over here. So this is basically my trading plan for the next coming day if the market breaches this level. But if it does not breach this particular level, I hope to see some sort of a sideways consolidation. And apart from that, we have some important major events happening which I'll be talking about just in about a minute over here. And next up, have the bank nifty chart. I've spoken about this again and again in the last 1 week. This what we have here, the horizontal support, is one of the most important support market has taken. It has absolutely played around a lot in this particular zone and given many traders an opportunity to enter into good trades. And today again we saw the same thing. Market broke that zone again, which it had taken support yesterday, but turns out market is not happy with the overall news, which I'll be talking about in just a minute. So clearly, the overall market scenario has taken quite a bit of a bearish turn. So clearly, as far as Bank Nifty goes, I had, in my mind, I had three levels on the upper end. That is 52 weeks high over there, and then last week's high over here. So this was one of the common zone. But market is clearly, especially Bank. Clearly, now the only support that is the one that was created on the Friday session. So clearly, that is what I'll be looking out for, maybe a jump around from here, or I'll be waiting for it to just break down. So clearly, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it would be very interesting to see how the balance is play out in this particular zone. And that's all. The main news of the day, that is the government actually came forward today to announce that the GDP data, whatever the next quarter, the second quarter, there was a slight dip in the GDP growth rate, right? So at 5.4%. So clearly we are trying to aim for, I think, 8.3% in the last 3 years. So 5.4 is clearly not a good thing, and mainly it was driven by the inflation in food prices. That was from October, but clearly in November we noticed there was a very sharp decline in food inflation data, submitted by WPS as well. So overall, even the government suggests that this is nothing to worry about. We'll be back on track in the next couple of months. So that is a bit of a reassurance from the government front. But as you can see, we have the chart over here. In 2020, we took a huge hit. GDP growth went to 5.8%. But now, after all the rate cuts and government doing its job, clearly we have noticed quite a bit of growth in the GDP data, and apparently we can expect the same as per the government report. And next off, one of the major sectors that took a hit today are the gas related stocks, right? So every time, whenever there's a GST council, so for example, on 21st of December we have GST council, and whenever a GST council is held, before the meeting itself a week ago, they basically release a list of things that they'll be discussing in that particular meeting. So this is considered this as a draft. So in that particular draft, apparently there's no mention of anything that is related to the gas stocks, and clearly the whole gas sector is in sort of a buzz for the last couple of months, and have taken a huge hit as well, because there was a new law which made them not being able to use a lot of, they're not able to purchase a lot of gas from the government and resell it to retail users. So clearly they were hoping for some sort of a relief from GST. So clearly that matter will not even be discussed apparently. So gas related stocks like IGL, that is Indraprastha Gas, and we have Mahanagar Gas, MGL, and then GAIL, the OG stock of stock market. So clearly all of these are down by 2 to 3, even 4%. A bit of a negativity.
the whole sector is in sort of a bearish trend, and clearly this is something to pour upon that. And next up we have SEBI basically appointed a forensic auditor to look into TARC. So TARC is basically a real estate company in India. They own a lot of properties and they do their big infrastructure projects, and apparently there's some sort of an audit appointed by SEBI. So these sort of news sends the stock down to a lower circuit every time they come in, because clearly it's not a good thing if SEBI is going there and auditing something of their financial statements. So clearly TARC has taken a 10% hit, right? And next off, you can also see the chart over here. It was in a good momentum, was trading in this particular zone of 200, but today after the news with huge volume spike, as well as you can see, compared to the last couple of months, this is almost 5 times higher. So clearly stock is in a downtrend, breaking all the major support zones as well. And next off, we have a stock called Oriana Power. This is a very interesting news because the company, guys, basically is worth about 5,300 crore. That means the market capital of the Oriana Power is basically 5,000 crore. But today they have signed up some sort of a MOU. That means memorandum of understanding with the Rajasthan government for 10,000 crore. So the deal itself is worth more than worth double what the company is worth. So clearly stock has hit an upper circuit. I've never actually come across any news that is like this. So clearly I'm gonna be actually putting this on my watch list for at least a month to see what will actually transpire. Again, I'm not telling you guys to go and invest in Oriana Power because I'm not giving you an investment advice, but clearly this is something very new that I've seen. So I want to know if the stock will actually reach its, even the stock will actually double its market cap, like its current order that it has gotten. And next, if you can even see the chart over here, very dull volumes, but today there's a huge spike. Stock is also given a very good breakout of that resistance zone at 2,600. So clearly a very good chart. I myself am very interested in what will happen. And then we have a stock called Godavari biorefineries, and apparently they are investing about 130 crores in ethanol distillery. So if you're not aware, there is a lot of buzz around the ethanol industry as well. So back in 2021, every ethanol based company went up by 100 to 200%. So because government was pushing ethanol, because they wanted to get rid of the fossil fuels that we are using for our vehicles, and they mentioned ethanol will make it all good. But then after a couple of years, they came out with a different story saying what, ethanol is maybe not a good idea, and they put some restrictions on them, and the whole ethanol industry is clearly under a bit of confusion. So again, Godavari biorefineries actually invested a lot of money. They're not worth that much, but so clearly they're putting 130. That's a huge sum for them as well. So clearly that is not a good news. So the stock has fallen by about 1.5%. I wouldn't say it's such a bad news, but clearly not a good news. So next off, we have a good news about a great news about China, is that apparently the loss-making companies are piling up year after year. So this is good news for India because if the revenue of Chinese companies are slowing down, that means obviously the foreigners, any foreign country is probably buying it from India, Japan, or some other emerging country, right? So this is mainly due to some of the stands that China has stood for in the past, and especially US. China does not have a good relationship with US, and Trump has imposed about a 30% hike on everything that they take, everything that they import and export. So clearly, obviously, if I was in US and I wanted to purchase some manufacturing automotive part, I would not pay extra 30% and buy it from China, or just buy it from some other country like Japan or India. So clearly, just in a month, right? I mean, Trump took over this month, and already we can see a huge rise in the chart. If you can see below over there, about 140,000 companies have apparently turned out to be a loss making company. So next up we have Quest Corp. So apparently this is trading the very high volumes, as you can see, for the last a couple of trading days, right? It's trading with very big volumes compared to the previous couple of months. It's up by at least 10 to 20%. So there's no major news about Quest Corporation. So apparently, I mean, clearly there might be some reason why it's going up with it's trading with such high volumes. So clearly, this is a stock that I want to keep on my watch list to see what will actually transpire.
If you're a trader following market calls and tips for day trading, use our tool RNT, Research and Trade. All you have to do is link RNT to your trading account, then just sit and relax. Turn trading into business at app.gwcindia.live. Check out description for more details.
Disclaimer: investments in the securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.